There is even a sub-tribe called Waziri, known for wearing its hair long. In biblical times, Naziri, such as Samson, also did not cut their hair. So you have Reuben, Gad, Ephraim, Shimon. 4 more tribes. So we actually located 9 of the tribes. Or let me put it differently. We think we located 9 of the tribes. If we haven't located 9 of the tribes, then it's a very strange coincidence going on, that you have all these people with biblical names, with biblical practices, with an Israelite memory, exactly where they should be according to the biblical map. If someone can come up with another explanation, I'm open to it. But I couldn't understand it.
When I was young and had no beard, my grandfather's uncle died at the age of 115. We called him Baba, or grandfather. He used to say that we are the children of Israel. I was young, and at that age people forget things. They don't care much about history or talk of this kind. But now I would like to know, what are our origins? Where do we come from?
Our grandfathers always told us that we are from the Bani Israel, the children of Israel. They said the Jews are as Pathan as we are.
It's clear that a Judaic memory persists, but were there ever people here who openly identified with Judaism? If you look up Harat in the Encyclopedia Judaica, for example, you'll find 1 or 2 paragraphs. If you look up a Western Jewish community, you'll find pages and pages and pages. And when you look up Harat, it says the Jewish community may have been in Harat for somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 years. They're talking about a community that lived somewhere for at least 1,000 years, and there's a paragraph or 2 on them. What does this tell us? It tells us that they're lost to our consciousness, that they've fallen off the Western radar screen. In Harat, we find this cemetery covered with Stars of David and Hebrew script. For at least 1,000 years, it served one of the oldest continuous Jewish communities in the world. The Jews of Harat are no more. The last of them left in the late 1980s following the Soviet invasion. The country is now torn by civil war, and yet a Pathan tribesman agrees to take us to one of the old synagogues. For hundreds of years, people entered this house of prayer through the grand doorways leading into its beautiful sanctuary. Today we enter through an artillery hole blasted by Soviet shells. There is now a tiny community of Afghani Jews in Israel. Like the Bukharans, they are largely unknown here. They remember their former Pathan neighbors as not quite Jewish, but perhaps related to them in some way.
They were the ones who wore these prayer shawls, 4-cornered garments like we do. And they didn't really know what they were, and they used to be surprised to see us wearing similar things. They would say to us, "You're Jews? How could you be Jews?" They'd be surprised. I remember them coming from the border areas, from the mountains, from Pakistan, places like Jalalabad. And I remember people said that to this day they still lit candles on the Sabbath. They would put the candles under these baskets and didn't know why they were doing it. They had all these traditions they didn't know the origins of. Except they said, that is what our forefathers did.
Did they think they were Jewish?
They thought they were more Jewish than us.
The prophets say that equal numbers of Israelites and Judeans will herald the Messiah. Interestingly, the number of Pathans and Jews in the world is virtually identical. The prophecy also foretells that it is Menashe and Ephraim that will take the lead in the return. In India, we had encountered the Menashe. If we were right, here among the Afridi, we had come face to face with Ephraim. However, before we could accept that the end of days was upon us, we needed more proof. On the road to Armageddon, it now seemed appropriate that our journey take us through a minefield. We needed harder evidence that the Pathans were of the lost tribes, so we went to the Afghani city of Kandahar, where in the 1950s a stone covered in ancient script was discovered. During the Soviet invasion, this stone was buried under rubble and surrounded by mines. Here, red dots mark undetonated mines, which we skirted to get to the site. "2,300 years ago, the Buddhist emperor Ashoka